Hello everyone, welcome back to the Airways Trades. I'm here again to give you guys another broad market update on the SPYs, the QQQs, as well as a few core listed companies, giving you my overall technical analysis of the broad market. So, first and foremost, we have CPI data coming out tomorrow, and I'm not going to spend too much time today in this video because of the fact that the technical readings that I normally do, I want to keep this short and sweet since tomorrow's news outlet is going to be CPI data, which comes out at 8:30 in the morning on the 13th, which is obviously tomorrow, which is a Thursday. And I'm not going to go too in depth on the technicals, mainly for at least for the core companies like Apple and Tesla, just because of the fact that I want to really emphasize today's video on exactly what may or may not happen regarding tomorrow's inflation report. So I'm only going to go over SPY and the QQQ today, as well as a little bit of the VIX, which is a volatility of the overall market. So short and sweet and to the point, right? As you can see here from a weekly perspective, obviously the SPY has been just overall getting slammed since the beginning of the year. And what the CPI data is going to reveal to us tomorrow, I know I mentioned in my previous video, but for those of you guys who don't understand what CPI is, it's Consumer Price Index. It basically is a monthly report about the overall inflation when it comes to food, energy, and it determines whether or not the Federal Reserve rate is going to raise interest rates, which puts a lot of pressure on the stock market as well as the housing market. Obviously, if inflation is high, that's not good for the tech sector or the overall stock market because they have to be more restrictive and put more interest rates in order to control inflation, so on and so forth. But so you're probably asking yourself, okay, well, what's going to happen tomorrow, or what are the numbers going to show to us tomorrow? So obviously I don't have the answer because I don't know what the report's going to say. But as far as the technical goes for the SPY and the QQQs, right, this we're looking at a weekly perspective, right? So two scenarios are going to happen tomorrow, right? If inflation comes out to where it's still extremely high than the last report, we're going to expect the market to continue to sell off at probably an extraordinary rate. I'm expecting SPY to reach pre-COVID lows, or we're getting close. Excuse me, let me correct myself. If inflation tomorrow continues to be high, that means that the Fed needs to raise more interest rates and obviously be more aggressive. Therefore, stock market is going to fall more, the tech sector. And obviously, we don't want that to happen because if so, what's really crucial about this report is the fact that, as you can see here, 346 for SPY is kind of the next support level. Obviously, we kind of broke the support of 362. But point being that if we continue to continuously see a decline in the overall SPY and the QQQ, we're going to eventually hit pre-pandemic lows, which is right around in this region here, which is roughly 319. Obviously, this is before the sickness has taken place. So we're kind of in this overall extreme oversold territory here, and obviously we don't want to head back to pre-COVID lows because obviously anybody who bought shares or whatever here during this region are obviously going to be at a loss extremely. So this inflation report tomorrow is kind of like the saving grace, at least for the time being, until we see some sort of good news come out. But as far as levels go, inflation becomes high, expect the market to continuously drop more, to the next SPY to drop to 346. And eventually, this is like the last line of defense here before we go back to pre-COVID lows. And then, after that, who knows, right? So if we're going to go to the daily perspective for SPY. So right now we've been seeing some enormous selling pressure, I guess, I think for since the beginning of October. So with that being said, we've kind of managed to be sideways and consolidating. Obviously, we rejected 362 as which is prior resistance, and now we're just sitting pretty again beyond summer lows here. So two scenarios that can happen tomorrow. I already mentioned, obviously, if the inflation report becomes out to be bad, or the next support level will be 346. If inflation turns out to be a little bit easing and the numbers are a lot lower, we could manage the market to probably gap up tomorrow over this 362 region and hopefully fill this gap, this little hole here. Let me go ahead and get rid of the drawing right around here in this region, and we could possibly see a rally, a bullish rally just for the time being. Although what I'm saying is not certain, tomorrow's inflation report is really going to determine the overall direction of the market. And we're gonna go on to the QQQ and explain this levels much the same as I mentioned for SPY. Again, from a weekly perspective, we're probably heading, or let me go ahead and go to the monthly perspective here. Again, we're kind of sitting on thin ice here. The next support level that we're looking at here would possibly be around 264. I'm gonna go ahead and draw that right now. And again, we really don't know exactly what's going to happen for the inflation report reading. Again, depending on exactly what the inflation report entails, determines the overall direction of the market. Since the start of Monday, we really haven't been seeing much movement because there was a lot of news that's coming out this week. Not only do we have the inflation report coming out, but we also have PPI data that came out this morning, and Friday we also have unemployment data as well. But the main data that everybody's is antsy over is obviously inflation. So again, I'm not going to go too in depth with the other companies' technical levels. I just want to focus mainly on the fact that again we are pretty much waiting on what the inflation report is going to read tomorrow. So with that being said, again, two scenarios. If inflation comes out to be high, I would look for more selling pressure to take place, probably for the rest of the month. And then obviously, if inflation turns out to be easing, I would expect the market to turn around, just reverse slightly, and again have a bullish reversal, possibly a gap up. But again, the bigger picture is that we're just waiting on this CPI data to come out, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. And then after we get the report tomorrow, then obviously I'll go more in depth with the technicals and then give you guys more in depth than in this video. But for the most part, I just want to go over that tomorrow CPI data. Look out for that 8:30 in the morning on the 13th, tomorrow, Thursday. Markets bracing for either good news or bad news, and we're just gonna have to wait and see. So I'll post another video this Friday. I just want to keep this video short and sweet. So I'll see you guys Friday, and we'll see what happens tomorrow and following and the remainder of the week. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.